Hi everyone, Shiv here. So today we are going to talk about NA versus EU. Yes, the age-old debate of which is the harder meta. No, we're not actually going to have this debate. Instead, what we're going to talk about is how difficult the metas are. Guess what? They're the exact same. They actually are the exact same. The only difference between the two metas is the composition. Alright? NA has a higher focus on aggro decks. EU has a higher focus on mid-range and control decks. Grim Patron exists on both of them, so accept it. Now, why this is actually relevant is I've been seeing a lot of people trying to push this whole Dragon Paladin agenda quite a lot. And you know what? I know people on the EU who swear by it. It's like, oh my god, this is the best deck ever, and blah, 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 blah. All right? And I've played it, and yeah, there are some matchups that you'll find quite commonly on the EU that it does great on. And then there are some matchups where it basically bends over, greases its own asshole, and puts a sign on its ass that says, come on in. By the way, those matchups would be Zoo, Mech Mage, Mech Shaman, Face Hunter, and a couple other. That's quite a bit. Alright? Now, let's take a wild guess which decks are super popular on the NA. So, what does this generally mean? Well, it means that that deck on the NA is basically going to give you so much heartbreak. So much heartbreak. I'm sorry, it will. Now, recently, I asked a deck builder, who I know is from the EU, I know where he's from, and I was like, hey, did you by chance test this on NA? Because I think this is a very valid question. And he was like, no, why would I test it on NA? As if to say, why would anybody give a damn about NA? Okay, see, here's where we get this kind of EU superiority shit that really pisses off a lot of people. It does. When you're posting up a stat fucking page for said deck to give it some validity of its viability in a meta, it is inherently to your benefit to actually list that this was achieved on said region. That way, you can avoid the 20 some odd people going, hey, this deck gets its shit raped by fucking Zoo. This thing gets its ass raped by Hunter. That are going to come from the NA region players. Alright? It's not that hard. Now, again, I'm not saying that people should actually be forced to test the deck on another region. Hey, you know what? You know people in other regions, have them test it for you. And give you a stat page of what they got. Alright? This will help, you know, in determining what kind of teching you could do to said deck in order to make it viable. However, coming out with statements like, oh, if these decks are a problem for you, why don't you just play Control Warrior or Priest? That, sir, is bad. And you did that several times. I'm not going to say the name of this person. And you should know better than this. You really should. Mostly because I did the same thing and I got my ass chewed out about it. And we talked about this. But when you tell people, oh, if you don't like it, then go play something else, that's kind of a problem. Alright? They're coming to you looking for help. They're not coming to you looking for you to basically trash them. They're not looking for you to basically tell them, oh, your fucking meta is inferior, go fuck yourself. They don't want to hear that. And matter of fact, that's just bad form all around. So, I don't know. I think in the future, sites like Hearthstone really should actually have a region setting on their deck builder. That way, it'll automatically list it as NA, EU, China, Korea, Taiwan, that thing. Alright? I think that would be about the best and most fair way of doing this. Now, some people will disagree with me, and that's fine. That's fine. And you might be right. Alright? However, when I get emails daily asking why this deck doesn't work for a person, why that deck doesn't work for a person, and I actually have to say the same damn thing over and over and over, it becomes a problem. So, yeah, until the aggro becomes less popular in the NA, playing some of these EU decks is just not going to be viable in the NA. I'm sorry, it's just not. Which inherently is going to make NA-based players weaker against EU. And come on now. When was the last time you saw NA weaker than EU on anything? Okay, quite a bit. But it would be nice to actually have this differentiation. That way, players will be able to find the deck that is suited for them the best, rather than having to go through the trial and error process of playing all these great EU decks on the EU, but suck on the NA. So, hopefully we'll see something like that in the future. By the way, just to let you guys know, Deck Talk will be coming back. We're doing a re-imaging, re-skinning, I guess, another way of putting it. So we'll be up for Season 2. Yes, Season 2, because we did 28 fucking episodes. Jesus Christ. So that will be coming up relatively shortly, hopefully. As soon as my drunken Canadian actually gets on it. Till then, have a great weekend. Stay safe. And may RNGesus bless you.